getting all this pollen off my windshield. That's pretty embarrassing. All right, so we're pulling into the neighborhood off of Hungary Road. So I just wanted to give you a shot. And sorry, Hungary was a little busy, so I didn't get a chance to get a picture at the exact front of the neighborhood with the brickwork and everything for the neighborhood sign. This is it. You guys may or may not already be familiar with this neighborhood. Everything is in bloom. It's pretty. Okay, Callio. And here we are. Sits up on a hill. That's good. Side load garage. Let me get parked and we'll go on in. We have aggregate sidewalk that looks like it could stand a little cleaning and maybe be sealed. But let's and from here the roof looks good. All right, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me get parked and we'll head on in. All right, Callio Way. With 5 beds, 3.5 baths, built in 2005. Asking $670, and they've been on the market for 6 days, which we're just coming out of spring break, Easter break, and so it can be, let me preface that by saying, before we were going into the spring break, you know, where the schools are out and everything, everybody's vacationing, houses were getting, personally know that they were getting multiple offers, escalating offers, and if it was a good one, they weren't on the market longer than the weekend. But during spring break, while they're all on vacation, it can tend to slow down. So yeah, also with it being built in 2005, all your systems are going to be about, it's 2025 right now, so all your systems are going to be about 20 years old if they haven't been replaced. Looks like this roof has been replaced. Garage has a bit of a buckle to it. I don't know how well you can make that out on here. Could be a spring issue. I don't know. Vinyl siding, overhang on the shingles looks good for the roof. And you can see close proximity to your backdoor neighbor there. But they have a boat, so I suggest making friends with them. And we are dual zone here, 2 zone. Ooh, that needs to be cleaned. That is not, cleanliness is not an inspectable item. That is considered cosmetic. But you can always, yeah, this driveway really needs attention. See how it's losing all the rock, the aggregate needs to be sealed and probably needs more aggregate added. They have extenders coming off of the gutter system, which nobody does that for fun. So it could be that they maybe have moisture issues in the crawl space. However, you do have fairly steep grade here to hopefully pull water away, but before you get to this steep grade, it's pretty level here, and all this mulch can soak up all that water. It's really flat through here, and the backyard was really flat, which doesn't leave the water really anywhere to go. Okay. Half round window. Looks like the side lights, which are the side windows beside the window. Looks like they possibly are fogged, possibly tinted, but they look kind of fogged to me. Okay, let's go ahead and we'll get the key and go on in. Okay, we're getting the party started. Right off the bat, we were here in the foyer here. So you walk into newer flooring. This is LVP. And if you're ever not sure what type of flooring you're looking at, I've probably told you guys this a bazillion times, but if you have registers at the bottom, you can pull the register up here and then take a look, and you can see you've got LVP here. So we are booted up, so let's get going. You can see, the fixtures seem a little on the original side. House was built in 2005. We have a lot of natural lighting in here as you come in, so that's nice. You've got the flex, well, this is a dining room, sorry. Flex room is over here. But you have your dining room with tray ceiling. That would have been an added cost. I'm sure you guys are familiar. Chair rail here, plantation blinds. A lot of these windows are a little on the foggy side, but I think a lot of that could be from just the massive amount of pollen we've been dealing with. But it's a good sized room. I'm not sure if they have the dimensions online or not, but I know you guys have a very large dining room table, so I'm not sure if that would, I think it would work in here. It is a nice size room. If I had to guess, I'm gonna say we're looking at a 12 by 12 room, maybe 12 by 13 or 13 by 13. We have a transom window leading into the dining room, but before we go into the kitchen, from the dining room into the kitchen, but before we do that, let's come over here to the flex room. Just while we're here, you see triple member crown mold, columns, and this is open to the family room. So if you guys wanted to use this as an office, and you didn't want the distractions from the family room with the TV and everything, you might want to get creative with how you shut that off. But if you just want to keep it open, you got it. There it is. Okay, wired for sound. Technically, they could pull these speakers off the wall, but the attachments are supposed to stay. So if they have to break out a screwdriver or a wrench or a hammer or anything like that, technically it's supposed to stay and the wiring would stay. So if you did want these speakers, mono price, I'm not familiar with those, but if you did want the speakers to stay, not a bad idea to put it in the offer. Gas logs. That is going to be for sound system there. Not sure, that actually looks like speaker wire right here. I don't know if we can, yeah, it looks like speaker wire to me. The gaskets are not the bad gaskets, or the window. As I'm looking at the gaskets in the window, it's those black gaskets that have a tendency to fail. A lot of times you'll see them in half round windows. A lot of times you see them in the formal windows, but good bank of windows in here. I mean, I'm really impressed with the natural light in here. And this is a good sized family room here too. Ceiling fans, ceiling light. We have open space here, so we know this could be affected by, and the carpet is so cushy. I don't feel any softness here, but that's something that the inspector would know to get under there and look, especially being that this is not enclosed here, so moisture could get to the band board behind this. But if it's properly flashed, you don't need to worry about it. But you can see, we definitely could use some paint at the very least out here. Units look like they're probably original. Matter of fact, just all around here. And a nice sized deck. Let's see, one or more of the balusters could use some attention. Looks like they have kids or a kid next door. Play set over there, if you can see that. It's really pretty. You guys know I don't, I speak my mind. This is really pretty over here, kind of park-like. This is probably a blown seal. I don't know if you can make out the moisture inside that window there. Yeah, so that's a blown seal there. Thankfully, and it has internal moyons, which helps keep the gaskets in place. You know, there's windows, you pop those out, take them out to Budget Glass, and they can typically take care of that for like 150 bucks. This will probably have the date on it. Yeah, these are original. 2004. Of course, house was built in 2005. So, yeah. And it is flat and almost a slight inclination back towards the home. So they probably did have moisture issues, which is why they put the those gutter extenders on. Would help to have them on over there as well, along the backside. That was the only gutter extender that I saw. All right, let's go back inside and we'll pop our head in the crawl space a little bit later, so long as it's not under the deck. Okay, heading into the kitchen. Let's go ahead and get the light. So updated light fixture, original light fixture. Bay window here. A lot of counter space. You know, a lot of counter space. And these are not the wrapped, it's a little cleaning. These are not the dovetail drawers here. These are not the wrapped cabinets. They have a tendency to fail. I don't see, yeah, okay, I was looking for the GFCI. Okay. Tile backsplash, gas cooking. I would say not new, but definitely very clean. That's impressive. Good sized microwave. I know we've seen microwaves that you can barely fit a thin microwave pizza in. Dishwasher. Dishwasher is very clean. GE profile. I believe all these are GE, they are. Yep. Okay, so they're all matching appliances. Very similar to my refrigerator, actually. I noticed flickering when I opened that up on the video. That I think that was just the lighting on the video, because I didn't see that actually inside the refrigerator. Pantry. Okay, let's take a look. And we do have power at the island, which is nice. Sometimes they don't do that. Trash. Sorry if I'm making you guys dizzy. I don't see. Sometimes there's a drawer where you put the trash in. Maybe they kept it in this pantry over here. I bet they kept their trash in here. But nice size pantry here as well. And I know one thing that we did not do. If we have plumbing here, there's probably going to be plumbing. Good chance there's plumbing up above this. This is our half bath. Nice. Like that. So nice size toilet. I would say that is not 2005. That's Kohler. And nice fixtures in here too. Six-panel doors, coat closet. There's the cover for that. Okay, let's go take a peek in the garage. Let's do a quick ceiling inspect before we do that though. This ceiling, I would say this has had to have been painted at some point. Doesn't look like they're covering anything up. I'm not saying that. Got a little loose around the edges here, but don't see any signs of leaks. Okay. All right. A classic 2.5 car garage. Good sized garage. All right, and we have a furnace down. Good chance we have a heat pump up, but that's not always the case. Sometimes you have a furnace up as well. Maybe a little bit of overkill, but you know, the heat pump will have trouble keeping up if the temperature gets below, you know, dips down below 40s, you know, somewhere in the 40s, and we'll go into emergency heat mode, where it's using heat strips, which can be very expensive. This is definitely original. Trane, as long as they dial it in right and take care of it, will last you a very long time. I've seen a 30-year-old Trane before still pulling the numbers it's supposed to. That's almost a unicorn though. I would say most furnaces, given proper care nowadays, run you about 17 years. If you get 20 years out of it, man, good for you. And I'm not seeing anywhere to get a date off of this. But yeah, I would say this is definitely original. So if it's pulling the numbers it's supposed to pull, fantastic, but I would just keep that in mind. I would assume that it's gonna, you know, buckle up and assume that it's gonna need to be replaced at any point. This looks newer, gas water heater. And we can probably pull a date off of this. What does that say, 2023, so only 2 years old. Let's look at the panel box. Sorry, I'm trying to get this zoom off. 200 amp service, that's good, that's what you want. Everything's well labeled. Garage floor is a little on the dirty side. Again, cleanliness is not an inspectable item. And you can see where this garage door is, something happened to it. It's seen better days. It is chain driven. That looks like moisture there, but maybe not, I don't know. We'll go up there and see if there's any, well, there is plumbing up there. You can see the plumbing up there. There's probably a shower up above here. Doesn't mean that it's an ongoing leak, but could be. That's why we have inspections. That is for your irrigation system. Oh, let's do this. You can't see daylight under this door, so that needs, and on the side, so it needs what's the word I'm looking for? Basically a gasket. Looks like they put one in here. But you could probably use a beefier one. Okay, let's head upstairs. And all of these windows, maybe not all, but almost all of them, have like a foggy appearance. Again, it could be the massive amount of pollen that we've gotten over the past week, or it could be a blown seal. It's just kind of hard to say, but if I were guessing, if I were to guess, I would say those that we just looked at are probably from pollen. All right, let's go on up. Newer carpet. And we're probably going to have a walk up third floor walk-up attic here. Okay, so we come up, we have the utilities, washer and dryer, same level as the primary. I don't know what that is. It could be water, but I think we've had the discussion about drain lines. So we're out here for your washing machine. So I guess we need to go back down that road. Nice space here. So let's head to the left. So we have, this is our first bedroom. This is, I'm gonna guess maybe 8 by 8, very tiny. I mean, not even 8. So this could be a small office storage room, but one, there's no closet in here either. And that's a fallacy. It does not have to have a closet in order to be called a bedroom. It doesn't. And just like these homes that were built in the 1800s and early 1900s, a lot of them, their bedrooms don't have closets. And if they do, they were put in there later. But, so I don't know if they're calling this a bedroom or not. They're saying they have 5 bedrooms, so we'll find out. But this is, could be a playroom, could be storage. I don't know. It's a room to use at your leisure. Ceiling fan, ceiling light. We'll call this one bedroom number 1. How about that? Is that better? And this is a good size. I'm gonna say this is maybe 13 feet. All right, so that's 11 by, I'm gonna say probably 11 by 11 from this wall to that wall. And again, I think the measurements, that's just paint. I think the measurements for the room measurements are, find those online. Coat rack behind the door here. And if I didn't mention it already, 6-panel doors throughout. Bedroom number 2, again, ceiling fan, ceiling light, double width closet. Oh, and so far they've all had closet shelving, which that's nice. This is on the, if you're looking at the house from the street, we're on the right side of the house. So we're gonna be over the family room. Coat rack again. So it was bedroom number 2. Bedroom number 3, ceiling fan, ceiling light, nice to have. Another good sized room. Of course, that's all relative. Somebody might look at these and think they're smaller rooms, but I see a lot of houses in this price point. These are good sized bedrooms. That needs adjusting. Actually, that might even need a whole new mechanism. The ball is gone. Which that would be an acceptable item because it's not working properly, but that's a $10 fix. Okay, and sorry, I don't think my camera's following my eyes. I'm looking at ceilings and carpet and all that stuff. Blemishes in the carpet, I don't see any, but as you guys know, in paint, unless it's really, really bad, there are certain instances where it could be considered a pertinent defect, but 9 times out of 10, problems with your carpet or your paint, those are going to be considered, they're going to be considered cosmetic and not an inspectable item. Double vanity, which is nice, being that you are going to have 1, 2, 3, and possibly 4 bedrooms sharing this bathroom. And potential buyers in the future, when you guys go to sell, a lot of times they will, if there's only 1 vanity, there are complaints that they don't want all their kids to have to share 1 sink, which I get. The biggest argument you'll hear is people leaving their stuff up there, like where they put their toothbrushes and all that stuff, but you can get around that. Linen closet. Okay, well, it's nice. This is actually a nice touch, so people can be getting ready out here while somebody else is taking a shower, doing their business, what have you. Ooh, ceramic tile shower with a cutout. Let's see if there's softness around the feeling. Good. I want to say that's fiberglass, but looks in good shape. It looks like it's been possibly reglazed. I'll say, given the age of the home, for it to look this white. These booties suck. Yeah, I think this has been reglazed. You did a good job. Yeah, it's very nice. Okay. Pick up my booty. Hey. Okay. Looks fairly clean, so I'm gonna assume that they have changed that when they were supposed to. Your second thermostat here. I'm gonna look down the hall. So the primary bedroom, master bedroom, is all the way at the other side of the house from the rest of the bedrooms, with the exception of this one right here. Some people will appreciate that. Ceiling fan, ceiling light, very large primary bedroom. I guess you could call that a sitting area. It's a little bit of a tighter sitting area. And I know you guys like the TV in the bedroom. And if you had your bed, that's the most obvious place to hang your TV. You have a cable outlet, although I don't know who uses cable anymore. Everything we do is wireless. But that'll be a great spot to put your TV if you put your bed over here. It's like they had their bed up against this wall with the windows, or something was there. And a nice bank of windows, a lot of natural light. We are above the garage here, so that means this room, depending on how well insulated the garage is, wouldn't count on it being that well insulated. This room will get cooler in the winter. This room will be warmer in the summer. But you can combat that with playing with the registers a little bit. Any rooms that are not being used, you can kind of close those vents up a little bit. I don't know that I would completely shut them, but you could direct more heat in here when you need it and direct more cool when you need it as well. But I'm not an HVAC technician, so consult with your HVAC technician on that one. Okay, closet here. Technically it's a walk-in. I know you want to get to the bathroom, but let's knock out the boring stuff first. How about that? Another walk-in closet. We've seen larger closets, but it's still good size. We've definitely seen smaller as well. All right, here we go. Master bath, double vanity. Looks like granite, updated fixtures in here. LVP flooring, bench seating in the shower. Just taking a look at the ceiling. That is a deep tub. It's not the longest, but it's a very deep tub. You have the wand, and let's see. We have our water closet in here. access in case you need it for plumbing purposes. It's a nice size shower. Kind of ducks around the side over here. Huge range shower head. Sits a little low, but you can adjust it higher. Sammy, you have your little cutout nook. Bench seating, and I would just, let's see if there's any wood behind here. I think that's all vinyl, so not too big of a worry, but you probably will get water along through here. I'll just keep an eye on it. I imagine, with the buildup of water, you probably have to clean it a little more often than you would clean the rest of your, probably quite a bit more often than you would clean the rest of your windows, just for, like mold type purposes. And let's see if we can get this to shut all the way. Sorry, this window's not the easiest to close there. Okay, we got it. All right, very nice. You guys probably know this, but cool little trick to help you keep your glass shower clean. Spray it with Rain-X wind chill cleaner, and that will help the water repel. And it seems to keep, I do the same thing with ours, with mine. And it seems like I don't have to clean it quite as often. Okay. All right. Door could stand to be painted. I guess they just did some touch-up paints. I don't know why I would have needed it or how these marks got on there, but anyway. Okay. All right. Walk up attic, 3rd floor, here we go. Yeah, this is definitely a blown seal here. And you would probably need a professional to come out to pop that out for you. So, and this half round has, it doesn't appear to have the bad gaskets, but that sun is seriously in my eyes. It looks like good, not the black gaskets, but you can see there is some deterioration on these gaskets here already happening. So probably just a matter of time before they need to be replaced if it's not already a blown seal. Again, this time of year when it's colder out, not as much humidity, it's a little hard to tell sometimes if they're if the seals have been compromised. Oh my gosh, it's a shadow. And another thermostat up here. Okay, so technically 3-zone if this works correctly. And it would probably work off of the 2nd floor unit. That's kind of dirty. I don't know when the last time that was changed, but it is warmer up here, but looks like they have it set to 78 for the cool. It actually looks like 75 for the heat. I don't know why you would need that, but either rate, LVP flooring up here, nice space, ceiling fan, ceiling light. I don't see any knee wall storage, so maybe you could get a handyman or a contractor to tap behind these walls if you ever wanted to open up some storage and see if there's any, if it's feasible to floor it out. If you wanted to, I don't know that I would, if you felt like you needed the space. Wired for speakers. This window looks a little on the foggy side, at least the down one does, but okay. And let's look in the over here. Okay, so the installed plumbing in here, that's what the riser is for. That's fiberglass. Got fiberglass shower here. Okay. This is, I believe, Corian. Feels like Corian. Could be cultured marble, but I believe it's Corian. This is, I don't know if you can make out that knee wall, but anyway, actually, let's turn this light on and, woo, my gosh, that is bright. Okay, you have shelving here. I don't know, I'm not gonna give that a push. Could probably stand to have some supports put over here. Only have rods for hanging your clothes there. Okay, walk-in attic. Let's see if we have a light. There's your furnace here, which would service this floor and the second floor in this case. Unless they do have 3 units, which I only saw two condensers downstairs. So it's going to be 2 units, 3 zone but 2 units. And I'm assuming this would make the most sense that this unit here is going to service the 3rd floor and the 2nd floor. And then the downstairs unit is servicing obviously the 1st floor. There's a light in here, but I don't see a light switch. I apologize. This is it out here. Yes. Well, maybe the light's not working. It must be out. Okay, but they do have a furnace up, so it's furnace down, furnace up. That's good. Looks like the original unit here. I know you probably saw this daylight over here. Not a big deal. Those are your that's your soffit for the outside. That's just allowing ventilation there. So it does give it some airflow in here. If you're concerned about it, you can always have it closed off, but that's not uncommon to see that. A lot of insulation here. I don't see any signs of moisture intrusion. Of course, we can't get to, if we were going to see moisture intrusion, typically it's going to be where something's coming up out of the roof, or, you know, like at your, at the end of the house, like around your gable fence, which we can't technically get to your, at any rate, I don't see any signs of moisture intrusion. Do see signs of possible something intrusion. What is that? Insect trap. Okay. And no real rust lines to be concerned about in here. Yeah, there's a trap coming up out of the so like at boot collars, a lot of times that's where you'll see leaks if the roof has been compromised when it starts to leak. Anyway, yeah, okay, so let's head out. We'll go find the crawl space. I'm gonna lock up and I'll meet you outside. Hey, we are outside. So we had 4 bedrooms on the 2nd floor, and then I guess they're counting the 3rd floor as the 5th bedroom there. And we're going to, since we haven't walked around the side over here, I would probably trim this tree back some. It's hitting up against the house. It's not hitting up against the shingles or anything like that. Well, that's another thing. You don't have any trees overhanging the roof, which that will, well, that's not good. Trees can exponentially shorten the life of the shingles. Okay, vapor barrier. Sorry, it is a little musty under here. You know, it's a crawl space, but it is a little musty under here, and I don't know, it wouldn't surprise me if you got under here on a good hot day and picked up on some mold. It does have some stringy insulation, which can be indicative of moisture getting in the crawl, and you can see some insulation has fallen. It's a decent sized crawl space. It's definitely not winning any comfort awards. But vapor barrier, from what I can see, looks good. I don't see anything under here from here that is giving me any pause. Okay, got that back up. That's this door is a little warped, so you either really have to fight with it to get it back up there, or just maybe go on and replace it. You're pretty handy there, Sammy. You can do that. Your gas meter looks like they have the updated meter. Yeah. Well, missing some of the newel post caps there, and maybe just a little bit of debris, nothing major. Yeah, I would say if you are getting any moisture intrusion, this would not be a bad place to look for intrusion coming in, because it sits a little low. I don't know if you can make out the drain tile kind of leans back in towards the house, and it's we did get a massive amount of rain over the past couple days, but no moisture through here. All right, so I'll reach out to you, give you my thoughts. Overall, I would say from what we have looked at so far and placed offers in on, I would say this one is definitely probably not underpriced, and depending on how the market goes, if a lot of buyers come out and it remains fairly low inventory, this one could go for what they're asking, or maybe slightly above. But this one is still, you know, within our budget, and I would say overall this is a good one. I kind of like it. It's not perfect, but you know, what is. All right, thanks.